Let's talk a little bit more about this cryptocurrency bullshit. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. What's up, world? Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like right here at I Mix What I Like. Again, I'm Jared Ball, your host. Thanks for checking back in. So, with some latest developments in the cryptocurrency world, I wanted to check back in and have another discussion with the author of Let Them Eat Crypto, Dr. Pete Howson, who, among other things, is an assistant professor in the Department of Geography and Environmental Sciences at Northumbria University in the UK. We talked with him previously on EYL over there on Black Liberation Media, but I wanted to talk with him once more, as I said, after some recent developments and get a little bit of an update. So let's check it out. Pete Howson, thanks again for joining us. If before we get anywhere, could we just sort of do a quick recap of Let Them Eat Crypto and your argument in the book? And then there are a couple of things happening today that I'd like to get an updated assessment from you on. But yeah, if you would just, and I'll link to the previous your previous visit with us that people can watch. But if you would just tell us, what is Let Them Eat Crypto?
Yeah, so the book, it looks at essentially the greenwashing, the aid washing, the pink washing, all of this nefarious stuff that the crypto industry is doing to wash its image so that it appears like it's this reputable industry that is not only not criminal, but it is actually making the world somehow better, especially for the poorest people and those who are vulnerable. So I'm a professor of international development. So I came to this space in an optimistic fashion. I'd been looking at carbon credits and the way that these I don't know if you're familiar with carbon credits, but essentially you plant trees and then you can monetize them to make money from leaving forest standing. So I'd been looking at these projects for about 10 years, and then these projects started looking at the crypto industry to try and make it easier for buyers and sellers to transact crypto carbon credits using blockchain technology. And I thought, well, this is a brilliant idea. This could actually fix a lot of the problems with it. And I was a bit of a booster. I even set up my own cryptocurrency project called Coast Coin, which was a way of trying to get communities in the northeast of England to do beach cleanups and things like that in exchange for these incentive tokens that they could, go and buy a cream tea or an ice cream in a local shop in exchange for collecting some bags of rubbish off the beach. I thought this was brilliant. I thought it could fix the environment. It could help empower poor people and get them, I guess, economically included within the local economy. How wrong I was. So, I mean, the more I dug into this, the more I realized that this was a very scammy-docious space. And what is being transacted most of the time is almost all 99% of these blockchain projects is a token, which is essentially homemade internet money, which is being, I guess, they sell it to the poorest people in a community, and they make lots of money off the hard work of poor people. It's a predatory industry, and it was one which I wanted to shine a light on, and that's what I did with Let Them Eat Crypto.
No, right on. And so, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you to come back is because there's been some, at least from my vantage point, renewed energy around talking about crypto as a saving grace. The price of Bitcoin has gone back way up. I don't know to what extent you follow the elections over here, but Donald Trump gets elected, has this interesting appointment I want to ask you about here in a second. But so there would be some who would want to argue it again that no, Dr. Howson, you didn't do something right, that in your own coin development, or you missed something, or now it's on its way, or those who, whatever the narratives are, those who were taught to hold on, those who were taught to ride the ups and the buy the dip, as they used to, all that kind of stuff, are now being rewarded. uh so looking back on your now looking back since your book came out, and this current state of crypto, what what do you say now? Are you now convinced that your book missed something,
No,
are we all, or they all, in their claims missing something, maybe even intentionally?
yeah, well, no, I mean, my position on this hasn't changed at all. If anything, it's been strengthened by, I think, recent market activities. I mean, just to make the point, like when I was looking at the carbon trading market, there was this argument that crypto tokens that are being used to sell carbon credits, these are not just kind of fairy dust commodities that are being traded by idiots. Like these are derivatives. Like a carbon credit takes its value, it derives its value from an underlying asset, and that being a tree that's been planted somewhere in the world. Even if that is a very kind of arbitrary kind of I guess, kind of fictitious form of capital, it is still the underlying asset which is attached to this carbon credit. I mean, I think that you could look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in exactly the same way, except a Bitcoin is derivative in that it derives its value on a bet on the future gullibility of people in the marketplace. And I think what is happening now is that lots of people are speculating that there are a lot of gullible people in the marketplace that are going to fall for things like the Paul Atkins um, guy who's taken over from Gary Gensler. That you've got Trump coming in, who's friends with Elon Musk and lots of other kind of crypto disciples who are, cult believers in this crypto casino. So I think these are all the reasons that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are ascending in value, and it's got nothing to do with more and more people using this technology. They're not. There's still no one's using it. When I say no one's using it, they're not using it to buy and sell things. I mean, if you're familiar with the Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper on Bitcoin, it's meant to be a peer-to-peer system of digital cash. No one's using it for that. The only reason people are using it is to speculate on future gullibility, or to evade taxes, or like what they do in Russia, to pay off some mercenary in Central African Republic who's doing your dirty work fighting for you in Ukraine or something like that. Like all of the reasons why people think that Bitcoin is ascending, it's got nothing to do with its utility. It's purely because of speculation and this fear and greed index, which is currently pointing towards greed. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, in your book, I know you tracked the El Salvador example, and a couple of others where the claim was, again, the currency is going to come in here and save this poor country. And you point out there, nobody uses it. They in part, that's the other thing I keep being baffled by when people talk about the stock price and the value of Bitcoin going up. It's going up in its value in US dollars, which people who advocate for it claim it's going to replace as a currency. So it's how can you find value in a currency that is meant to replace the currency its value is measured in? I, I know I'm not the expert here, but that sounds just plainly illogical to me. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's
yeah.
the sheer mental gymnastics that goes into keeping crypto afloat is, it's Harry Houdini levels of craziness.
Now, patrons and channel members get to see the entire interview. So, big shout out to them. Please consider joining.